So you're here too late for what's it called? Not staying all that. You're here at 10, 11, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Taj, you can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Just that part. Hello, world. It's Friday. This is Americana, and I'm your host, Willie Montague. We don't tiptoe around the truth here. We tackle it. And this Friday, we're most definitely going to tackle it. This show is not going to be for the faint of the heart. It is for those unafraid to think, question, and lead. So buckle up, because comfort ends here. This is Americana. It is going to be an interesting episode as we talk about the historic win in New York City. This is hitting headlines all over. The progressive surge, Abbott's tariff joke, state versus state culture war hits peak, and the rise of independent voters, America's political breakup. A lot is going to be happening on the show, but we're going to be joined by Taj later on, and we already know he's outspoken, unapologetic about it. But before we get started, you already know what time it is. Let's get into Willie's Take. Well, it is Friday, and I thought about what is it that I can leave with you. It's not just a rant, but something that can touch your heart. And it's to know your worth. Don't shrink just because the room feels small. You were built to stand tall, not to fit in. The world will try to discount your value, negotiate your confidence, and water down your fire. But when you know who you are, you stop explaining and start walking in it. You don't beg for a seat. You build your own table. And God knows we know how important that is. So hold your ground, because when you finally stop budging, that's when the world starts adjusting. Welcome back to Americana, Taj. We're glad to have you with us today. He is a political commentator, a community outreach individual. I like to say a community service agent of change. Welcome back to Americana. Don't get too excited, okay? So we get ready to talk about, now I probably am going to butcher this, but Zoran, you say it, Taj. Y'all know his name. He just become Mamdani. So he is age 34, won the New York City mayoral race with about 50.4% of the vote, becoming the city's first Muslim and youngest mayor in over a century. Taj, what changed in New York City that allowed a Democratic socialist candidate to win big?
I think that the change that happened in New York City has been bubbling up for probably the past decade. It's very interesting. New York is a very interesting place. I think that is the battleground experimenting room for the left and the right to try new policies and to push new messaging. So there's a reason why AOC, right, asked her voters, because a lot of her voters voted for Donald Trump, and a lot of people voted for AOC on the same ticket in the same race in 2024. They wanted a populist change. They want what you call a change candidate, where a change is perceived and a change is heard and a new message is given. And I think that's what got Zoran Mamdani over the winning edge.
So with Mamdani, tell me what in New York City's mind is it the desperation to have someone who is completely, I mean, not just a little bit left, but completely left, progressive, radical, that is, have our country come to that place. Do you really think this is something to be proud of?
Yeah, I think so. It shows that someone that didn't come from a lot of money could win a massive seat like the mayor of New York City, the Big Apple. I think that's awesome, and I think his policies that he pushed for things like free buses, like city-run grocery stores where it would have like super low pricing on goods.
By the way, just so you know, by the way, they actually have tried that before, and it actually does not work, because when you do that, they end up running out of supply. So I don't think that's going to work. But you can go ahead and continue.
Okay, run out of supplies. Okay, for grocery stores. Hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think that the public competitor for private companies could be good in a lot of situations. Like bookstores don't close down because we have libraries, right? Like FedEx and UPS exist even though we have USPS, which is like the cheapest option most of the time. So like something in the grocery realm could be very fascinating to behold and see.
You know, I am very concerned with New York City. I have not been to New York, but this does not encourage me to want to go to New York, because I feel like this right here is something where progressiveness has taken over, and this is what happens when we have people who are uneducated of what's really happening in our country, because New York City is a major place we do not want to see shift into this place. We're talking about the possibility, and you may not agree with this, but the possibility of taking that type of mentality he has and bringing Sharia law, and this will be the first place where we'll start seeing Marxism come into our country.
Can I see one? What's one policy of Zoran's that's close to Sharia law? Like he's pretty left. He might be left to me. Like I don't think that's like the type of person I'd bring in Sharia law.
I mean, did you just hear what I just said? And you just say he's left to you. That's all it takes. I mean, what's you and some of the people that I know that is connected in many different ways on the left is just one vote away or just one sentence away from becoming these radical individuals that want everybody to walk around with free, free, free. So with this, rent freezes, free buses, will this agenda actually survive the reality of governing in a mass city? You just talk about free buses, but will this actually be able to survive in such a city like New York City?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, what,
like the buses are already pretty low cost. Like I think it's like $2.90 per ride on a bus or on a subway. I was just in New York yesterday. So yeah, like I took the bus.
So you were celebrating the win of this progressive individual.
I was celebrating. I was door knocking for him too.
How were you?
I was in Cypress Hills, Brooklyn.
You were door knocking for him just yesterday, or during the campaign?
No, I got knocked yesterday. Yeah, during the campaign.
Okay.
So on Tuesday I was. Tuesday morning till Tuesday.
So you were on the ground to see just how woke New York City has become.
Yeah, I was checking it out.
Because
I haven't been in a year, so
this is, you know what I believe that happened with this is people they're not aware of just how serious this is to have someone like him and how his tone instantly changed. And then to go around and dance with, this whole, they're not like us. It's like, it's showing, I'm telling you, this is going to be dangerous, because this is not the type of Muslim that you see in Muslim nations. I believe he will be the same type of individual that will continue to push an agenda that one will destroy individuals, because they're all concerned about himself and about themselves. Because you talk about, I can't remember her name at a moment, but when you get these Muslim community together, especially individuals like him, they're not going to be concerned even about your black face.
That guy's super secular. Zoran?
They're not going. I'm telling you, they're not going to be concerned. When it's all said and done, he's not going to be concerned about you. So how do you think that this victory will reshape the Democratic Party's strategy heading into 2026?
Yeah, the thing that led me to go door knock for the guy, play for my own ticket and my own lodging and everything, and transportation, right? The thing that led me to door knock for him was that I want the Democratic Party to see that a change candidate can win and it can beat like the status quo candidate. So there's so many seats in this country that are owned by like really status quo people, like really unpopulously purple people. And like, I want this to be just like a spotlighted event of the change candidate, the left-leaning candidate, the guy who calls himself a democratic socialist to win. I'm not even socialist. but I want like a more left-leaning candidate that's younger and more progressive to be like the leader
This,
of the Democratic Party.
this is what I want you to define what you think a left-leaning candidate is really having to offer to the people. Real fast, we got to go on this commercial break here soon. But what is it that left-leaning is
Right.
going to be able to be offered?
I think a left-leaning candidate is much more likely to have the working class in mind and have actually like proven solutions for things, the way that conservatives don't. Like when Sliwa, for example, is like, "Oh no, we have to enforce toll hoppers more to make the buses cheaper." I'm like, "Huh? How does that make sense?" Like when conservatives like Marjorie Taylor Greene are like upset about healthcare costs going up, even though her party is the party that wants healthcare costs to quadruple in the country. I'm like, how does that help the worker? Your healthcare goes from being $200 a month to $800 a month. How does that help someone making $50K a year? I don't understand that. What I can understand is left-leaning candidates with policies like healthcare, like childcare, like more accessible transportation, like more accessible education, being in the forefront. And yeah, so that's why I supported Zoran. It was an easy choice for me.
It sounds like that the left-leaning candidates want things to be free without being able to go out there and do what's necessary to work for it. But we'll have that discussion for a later day. So stay with us, you guys out there. We're getting ready to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we have a lot coming up. We're going to talk about Abbott's tariff joke, state versus state, and then the rise of independent voters. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Americana. All right, welcome back. This is Americana. It's Friday, y'all. We're getting ready to get into the next part of Americana today. We have Taj with us. Let's talk about what's happening in Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said he'll impose a 100% tariff on anyone moving from New York City to Texas after the New York City election. The twist is legally impossible, but the statement speaks volumes. Is Abbott's tariff talk more political theater or a sign of a deeper state-level division? What do you think about this, Taj?
Yeah, I think it's a sign of pretty deep state-level division. You said it perfectly. I think that's what it is. And you know, if Greg Abbott could legally do that, I think he would legally do that.
Hey, I don't have no problem with it actually, because we have enough. I don't want them coming here. I think that the people who are in New York, if they have the balls to be able to vote for someone like they just Zoran, I think that shows that we do not need them in any red state whatsoever.
You know, I wish that were the case. I feel like they're not sending their best. They're sending all the Republicans down here in Florida. Like, same thing in Pennsylvania, like New Jersey. Get them out. Get them out. Go somewhere else. Go to Wyoming.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm excited for it. We do need that. We definitely need more Republicans, but we don't need any more people coming down here that's going to be woke. So what does it say when migration between U.S. states become a punchline for tariffs?
Something that is in constitution, like not constitutionally, but I mean like un-American in a way that is like not good. like Civil War, like 10 years before Civil War, like type of language where it's like you have such hostility to another state where you as governor want to put out the messaging that they are not welcome to come to your state as residents to move across their own country to your state within that country that you share with them. That's
Well, we
crazy.
also had a
Like,
sheriff in Florida that stated that, hey, those that want to escape was welcome to come. I believe it was in Volusia County. And so I was like, hey, we have different states that's like, you guys, we feel for you. If you want to escape, this is the time to escape. So if states start treating other states like foreign countries, where does that leave United?
exactly. And that's my issue with it. That's exactly my beef. I'm not a fan of people like Greg Abbott, like the governor of a state, like saying something like that, like to residents of another state. Like, that's crazy. And also, he's not above stuff like that. If it's legal for him to do that, he would do it. He already sent people from the Texas National Guard to Illinois. Like, what is that? What's going on here?
There's something I've been pondering. I wanted to ask this. I'm taking a little aside. Y'all bear with us. I'm taking a little aside. I wanted to think about this because in this, what is called a crisis, we're talking about food stamps, we're talking about the aviation, the FAA, we're talking about all these different things happening. And as I ride down the street and I see homeless individuals, I see all this taking place, you know what that bothers me, because I was on Facebook scrolling, and I see how all of a sudden these Democrats, left-leaning people, are now popping up to make it seem like now they're the solution to the world hunger, the country's hunger. But it predominantly has been Republicans that's been stepping up trying to make ends meet until now. So now that they caused the problem, they want to go. So I think what Governor Abbott here is doing is making it saying, hey, we don't want your liberal leftist agenda coming here. We'll put 100% tariffs on you, even though it can't be done. But what do you say about that? Because to me, it bogs my mind how Democrats now think that they're the solutionary to the problem they created.
I think you're outside of the bounds of reality with this one.
I am inside the bounds of reality. I live in the reality. What is outside the bounds of reality is the fact that we have people who are in these positions who do not recognize that they are only doing this because midterms are coming up and they want to be elected. And I'm talking about these radical left, no testicle having politicians that is on the left side of this war.
I think that when Republicans do things like cut U.S. aid, which is going to lead to more deaths than the Holocaust, like, you cannot say that these people care about feeding people and caring about people. Like, the president, no one else, the president is deciding to not give out funding for SNAP. We have an emergency fund of, I think, $6 billion, and he refuses to do it, and he's doing it illegally.
I believe that's old news. Did not the federal judge?
That's all his fault.
Yes or no?
You voted for him.
Did not.
You guys, if you're concerned, you voted for him.
Did
right?
not the federal judge say that he has to 100% fund the SNAP benefits? Correct.
He has to fund it, but the president refuses to fund it. He refuses to fund
it. That's the question I'm asking. Yes.
Today, as of a week ago, that do not have access to funding for their food.
But this is where I said before. This is where I said
in a couple of weeks.
We're getting ready to move on. But I want to say this. I believe that this is correct. Both sides need to step in. Well, you need to tell that to the Democrats who are sitting there not knowing how to negotiate. But let's move on.
The Democrat?
Yeah, let's move on. We have a rise in independent voters. A new Pew survey shows that 49% of Americans now identify as independents. This is the highest in U.S. history. So what is your thought about this? Both parties are bleeding trust, and voters are walking away from traditional labels, demanding something real, not rehearsed. So, Taj, do you think that more people are rising up to be independents?
I think that the branding for the Republicans and the branding for the Dems is a little bit outdated, and I think that's why so many people are comfortable either leaving the Democratic Party or leaving the Republican Party. And going independent. Right now, it looks like from that poll that's being referenced, 31% of people identify as GOP and 32% of people identify as independent, which is wild. And 37% identify as Dems. But the Dem number is dropping faster than the conservative number, oddly enough. So I think that what's going on is like people are not really doing their research and falling into like the brain rot of thinking, oh, both sides are equally bad and going independent.
So do you think that...
So it's going to be... for decades to come, in my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen.
Do you think
either both parties entirely, or update their brands, give it a Windows update, or we're just going to see this trend continue and continue.
So do you think this is a thing about people just really are done with their parties, the two-party system, and they just want to get rid of all performers? I'm saying, I want to step in and see, hey, I just want to represent my community. Forget about your party. Is that where you think that we're going that way?
I think that's the way it's going to go. Yeah. I think the branding has been poisoned on both parties. We've done a great job of throwing the mud on each other, and people that see it from far away are seeing and like, oh, there's so much mud on each side. They're like, I don't resonate with either one. So like, yeah, it's going to be a job for both parties to like bring people in. I think like with Zoran being as popular as he is, like I think the populist way
oh
is
my God, please,
and
with Zoran being why is it you're so wrapped up in this? It's like you're literally walking around with him in your back pocket. It's a recent
example from less than a week ago.
This is the danger that I think, because these individuals like Zoran, I believe that it's going to, Zodon is what we should call him from Power Rangers. But I think these individuals are going to go out there, and it's going to be destruction of our political cycle going forward. And you may not see it because you're on that far left agenda of thinking that we need this. But so what are you saying? We're saying a revolution, that people are wanting to be in the middle. Because now, if you're saying that independence, what you just saw happen in New York City was not independent.
What I saw in New York City was a populist candidate that wanted to target the working class in his messaging, and he won because of that. Yeah. So like, yeah, like one candidate had like billionaires backing him, the other one had like a lot of grassroots donors, people like me flying in, making phone calls from out of state, trying to whip out the vote. And like, that's people power for you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like both parties are going to go more populist. I'm hoping that people aren't too stupid to realize that like one party is objectively better than the other.
Well, I mean, I don't see how because if you went out there and you had people knocking on doors way from here to New York, I just don't understand how we think that that's in the middle. That's what I'm trying to get to, because if we're talking about people wanting to have a moderate approach to society, I get that. But what we're seeing is not moderate. We're seeing people who are so extreme that, I mean, if they could, they would probably murder a baby that's 2 years old because they just that insane. That's what we're talking about for the radical left's agenda. And do not say that's not happening, because I see it. Absolutely.
I'm saying populist, and that's a both party thing. Like Donald Trump is a populist candidate. His messaging was for, unfortunately, it was for middle and working class people, even though he did nothing for them. Marjorie Taylor Greene's another example on the right, where her messaging's for the middle and working class, even though she does almost nothing for them. Like Maxwell Frost, like AOC, they're on the left, and they have messaging for the working class. And that's why they're so popular in their districts. Yeah, so in the future, this is what's going to be needed. Like less corporate people, because the corporate people don't necessarily win. The Hillary Clintons don't necessarily win races. The Kamala Harrises, as much as I love her, don't necessarily win races.
Exactly. I agree. I'm glad you said it. Well, thank you, Todd, for
he's been more populist and more like pro-worker class, working class. Like the class of Black America is expanding. So in order to get the most amount of votes, they appeal to the most amount of people.
Thank you, Taj, for being with us today. I do agree that Kamala was not the best fit. Well, that's all today for Americana. I'm Willie Montague. Grateful you spent your time digging for truth with me. We'll be back Monday, same time, same place, right here on AfroTV. Until then, stand firm, think freely, and never trade the truth for comfort. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.